Good morning, everyone. My name is Susan Moriarty, and I'm the Executive Director of the Tennessee YMCA Center for Civic Engagement. It is my privilege to welcome you to the 68th Annual Youth and Government Conference. We know this isn't the conference you expected. It's not the conference we expected either. But we are so grateful that you've chosen to be here, and we look forward to a fantastic weekend working with all of you. Between our 3 high school conferences and our 3 middle school conferences, the CCE will serve more than 1,200 middle school and high school students from across the state of Tennessee. I want to take a moment to thank all of the people whose hard work and dedication have made this conference possible. To our teachers, who have been juggling assignments and communicating with students during unprecedented uncertainty. Thank you. To our volunteers, who have still managed to take time out of their busy lives to assist us in bringing this conference into the digital world. Thank you. To Governor Bill Lee, members of the Tennessee General Assembly and their staff, the Tennessee Supreme Court, MPNF, and the Tennessee Bankers Association, who continued our long-standing tradition of meeting with our officers and governor's cabinet members virtually this year. Thank you. And most of all, to our officers and our delegates, whose passion for civic engagement and making our state a better place is undeterred by a Zoom setting. Thank you. We can't imagine what this year would have been like without your enthusiasm, your support, and your participation. It truly makes a difference. Enjoy this weekend, show off all your hard work, and make some new friends.
My name is Elise Duggar, and I'm the Associate Director of the YMCA Center for Civic Engagement. The conference app is essential to your YIG experience this year. A couple weeks ago, you received an email at the address you used to register for the conference entitled YIG App 2021. This email contained instructions for logging into the conference app. If you can't find this email, just let Tyler, Susan, or myself know, and we will resend it to you. Instructions are also available on our website or later on in this video on how to download and log in. The app can be accessed from your web browser or your mobile device. Logging into the app is essential and allows you to join the secure Zoom sessions for each session, as well as access tons of helpful features like personalized schedule, delegate messaging, House and Senate dockets, dynamic legislation, informational pages, conference updates, and election info. If you're not logged in yet, pause this opening and make sure you're all set up. Before the conference begins, here are a couple reminders on Zoom etiquette. 1, make sure you're in business attire, just like at a normal in-person YIG conference. 2, if you have to leave the room, please turn off your video. 3, keep yourself on mute unless you're being recognized to speak. 4, the chat should only be related to conference material during sessions. And last, but certainly not least, make sure all that you do and all that you say is in keeping with the YMCA core values of honesty, caring, respect, and responsibility. We do have a limited amount of conference merchandise available for purchase. You can order shirts, sweatshirts, and stickers from our online store. We will ship them to you after the conference is over. If you're interested in a 2021 YIG book, we've got you covered. This year, we are creating a commemorative book that features all 3 conferences, and that book will ship out after the last YIG conference once we've printed the book. It will have information and bills from all 3 conferences, including award winners and contributions from every single component.
My name is Tyler Dorr, and I am the Program Director of the YMCA Center for Civic Engagement. The last year has been challenging, socially. I know that I miss seeing everyone gathered together at the Capitol for the conference, but youth in government is not a place, it's an idea. That when we come together, collaborate, we can build something greater than anything we could do alone. That's why we've asked you here, to share your ideas, to advance your perspective, to collaborate with your peers, and to unmute yourself. However, we're not only challenging you to use your platform for yourself, but to amplify the ideas and voices of your peers. Throughout the weekend, look for opportunities to amplify and listen and try to minimize distraction and drowning out. After all, youth in government doesn't work unless we can all hear each other. We're also offering lots of chances to interact with delegates in a more casual setting, Although these evening sessions are completely optional, I encourage you to put yourself out there and meet some new people. Tomorrow, we'll be hosting a game night doing team trivia, so grab a couple of friends or some new people from committee and come join the fun. Saturday night, we'll be hosting our classic tomfoolery committee, so submit your best resolutions and bring your A game. We're also hosting game night round 2, so we hope to see you there. If you need anything this weekend, Susan, Elise, and I, your teachers, and our conference staff are here to help you. Most importantly, your 2021 officers are here to lead you. Please help me welcome the presiding officers for the 68th Annual Tennessee YMCA Youth in Government Conference. Officers, it's time to unmute yourself.
My name is Jackson Hoppy, and I'm your governor.
My name is Amal Sam, and I'm your Chief of Staff.
My name is Angel Chong, and I'm your Lieutenant Governor of the Red Senate.
My name is Lauren Link, and I'm your Speaker Pro Temp of the Red Senate.
My name is Jack Barexa, and I'm your floor leader of the Red Senate.
My name is Reva Jethwani, and I'm your clerk of the Red Senate.
My name is Anna Huber, and I'm your chief engrossing clerk.
My name is Rithwik Narayandas, and I'm your lieutenant governor of the Blue Senate.
My name is Claire Hutton, and I'm your Speaker Pro Temp of the Blue Senate.
My name is Hadia Kruger, and I am your Speaker Pro Temp of the Blue Senate.
My name is Hannah Brooks, and I'm your clerk of the Blue Senate.
My name is Alexandra McLaren, and I am your clerk of the Blue Senate.
My name is Michaela Webb, and I'm your Speaker of the Red House.
My name is Zoe Fresnelli, and I'm your Speaker of the Red House.
My name is Jackson Payton, and I'm your floor leader of the Red House.
My name is Emerson Pope, and I'm your floor leader of the Red House.
My name is Carolyn Melosis, and I'm your clerk of the Red House.
My name is Sai Kuritini, and I'm your clerk of the Red House.
My name is Aaron Chada, and I'm the Speaker of your Blue House.
Hi, my name is Paige Jarrett, and I'm your floor leader of the Blue House.
My name is Led Hinton, and I'm the Blue House floor leader.
My name is Reed Grizzle, and I'm your clerk of the Blue House.
My name is Taylor Schneider, and I am your Chief Justice.
My name is Daniel Chen, and I'm your Associate Justice.
My name is William Fichtel, and I'm your Associate Justice.
My name is Trisha Mazumdar, and I'm your Associate Justice.
My name is Milind Mathia, and I'm your Associate Justice.
My name is Saya Palmer, and I'm your Associate Justice.
My name is Ryan Gibbons, and I'm your Attorney General.
My name is Sarishi Dalai, and I am your Solicitor General.
My name is Grace Terrio, and I'm your Clerk of the Court.
My name is Sophia Chang, and I'm your Head Lobbyist.
My name is Owen Hewitt, and I'm your Press Managing Editor.
My name is Hayden Wells, and I'm your Social Media Director.
Stick around. Up next, we'll be talking about how to navigate the virtual conference, receiving a welcome from Governor Hoppy, and hearing from our keynote speaker and the candidates running for office for YIG 2022.
We'll be running a Red House and Senate chamber, as well as a Blue House and Senate chamber this year. Bills that are ranked well in committee will move on to the chamber session where they will be voted on. Bills that pass both chambers will be sent to Governor Hoppy for his signature to become law. Throughout the weekend, we will also be accepting dynamic legislation. Dynamic legislation can come from any component as long as there is a House or Senate sponsor attached to the bill. Join any House or Senate meeting throughout the weekend to be directed to the dynamic bill workroom where you can meet with potential sponsors. Once your legislation is complete, please submit it through the dynamic legislation section of the app so it can be prepared for the next session. Remember, you'll need a representative or a senator to make a motion to introduce the bill. Good luck.
This weekend, lawyers will argue a real-life Tennessee Supreme Court case. Teams will represent both sides of the case, and the other justices and myself will judge the case accordingly. On Saturday night, our top teams will receive a new case, the final case, to argue on Sunday morning. If you have any questions about constitutionality throughout the conference, you can get in touch with our Attorney General, Ryan Gibbons. Good luck.
GovCab will support the governor throughout the weekend, assisting him with the state of the state, conducting research and debating bills that are sent to the governor, and preparing a balanced budget to be submitted to the legislation during Sunday morning session. We'll be discussing budgetary proposals and monitoring the executive branch of the state to provide a speedy response to any crisis.
Your lobbyists will spend the weekend advocating for and against different pieces of legislation. In addition to partnering with delegates to accomplish our goals, we're also a resource for research, advocacy, and help with dynamic legislation. This year, we hope to support GovCab in its efforts to pass the annual budget, as well as push for legislation pertaining to healthcare and infrastructure.
Press Corps works all conference to bring you important information about the conference, Tennessee, and life. Make sure you follow the Press Corps on Twitter and Instagram at TNCCE Press and the YMCA Centers for Civic Engagement at TNCCE to stay up to date on all things youth and government. Updates will also be posted on the Press Corps section of the app.
My fellow Tennesseans, it is my honor to welcome you to the 68th Annual Tennessee YMCA Youth and Government Conference. My name is Jackson Hoppy, and I'll be serving as this year's volunteer conference governor. I want to personally thank each and every one of you for participating in the conference, and I know that many of you are all excited to engage in debate about issues pertaining to our great state of Tennessee. What happens this weekend will not only shape the future of our state, but our country as well. So please, express your opinions, put yourself forward in debate, and don't be afraid to speak your mind on the debate floor. Unfortunately, we are not in downtown Nashville, in the beautiful state capital this year. Whether you're a fourth-year delegate, like myself, or a first-year delegate who has never done YIG, this is disappointing. For the latter, it's in a new and different environment as compared to previous YIGs. However, this is the right course of action. The COVID-19 pandemic has ravaged our state and our country at large. What's important right now is to stay safe and to wear a mask. We will continue to get through these challenging times together. I hope that you're all able to enjoy civic engagement, debating bills, and having important, meaningful discussions with one another during this virtual conference. 3 years ago, I came to YIG not knowing what to expect. Little did I know that it would affect the course of my life for the better. I've made countless friends and memories along the way that I will truly value for a lifetime. It has allowed me to express how I think we can move forward and make our state a better place. I encourage everyone here to do the same. Put yourself forward in debate and articulate your opinions. If you put your foot into unfamiliar territory at YIG, I can assure you that you will not regret it. This year, I plan to address the critical issues facing Tennessee, something a mentor of mine put it to me as I headed into the conference. Education, healthcare, and infrastructure are three of the main tenets of the Hoppy administration. We need to rebuild Tennessee from the ashes of this fiery pandemic and get back to our tremendous growth. We're beginning to turn the corner on this pandemic, but we're not quite at the finish line. We must continue to fight the virus, vaccinate our people, and get back to work. I intend to sign bills into law that benefit every Tennessean and address these critical policy areas. We live in a world that is plagued by divisiveness and gridlock, and I encourage everyone, while in debate, to learn how to agree to disagree, something our society just doesn't seem to know how to do. Work together for the betterment of our state. These discussions that you have this weekend are important, mock government or not, and will shape our society. My fellow officers and I can't wait to lead the conference and are always open for questions and concerns. Let's make a better Tennessee together. God bless the volunteer state.
Good morning, afternoon, or evening, and welcome to the 68th Annual YMCA Youth in Government Conference. We're looking forward to a great week full of debate, laughter, tears, legislative triumph, and budgetary heartbreak. We're so glad that you all could join us virtually in your own homes. We just wanted to take a couple of minutes to talk about some conference features and the use of the conference app. To begin, you should have an email in your inbox that looks exactly like this one, except instead of my name right here, you're going to have your own. The subject line is YIG App 2021, so make sure you can find that email. If you can't, send Elise or I an email. Our emails are on the TennesseeCCE.org website, and we'll go ahead and get you hooked up with the app. The app contains all your Zoom links for the conference, as well as all the content related to the conference, and it's going to be crucial for successful navigation of the conference weekend. So make sure to get this figured out well in advance of the conference. The email contains instructions that walk you through how to set the app up on your phone and on your web browser. We definitely recommend using the web version of the app during the conference, as that's kind of the easiest way to navigate it and your Zoom windows at the same time. To open it on your web browser, just click this Login to App button right here. That is going to, and hold on to your seats for this one, log you into the app on your web browser. It's going to pull up a thing that looks exactly like this once you agree to our lengthy code of conduct. This is the app home screen. It contains a little bit of information about the event, as well as some reminders down here in case you're completely lost. But let's talk about the different things that you can do with the app. First of all, you'll notice the date up top. This is super helpful in case you forget what time it is or what you are doing. You've got your account name right here. This is going to let you edit your profile if you want to include any extra information about your bill or your legislative goals, as well as upload a profile picture that can make it easier for conference attendees to find you. Up here you got notifications. Every time a notification gets pushed during the conference, it's going to appear right here. So check this for reminders about elections or the posting of different dockets and things like this. From the home page of the app, you'll see this sidebar that's going to stay in place as you navigate around the app. Use the event guide to get to the different places you need to go. We'll go ahead and start with the schedule. The schedule contains all of the conference sessions, and this is also where the Zoom links are housed. So navigating the schedule is going to be crucial throughout the weekend. I'll point out that the schedule automatically adjusts to the time zone that your computer is in. You can see I'm in Central Standard Time, so all the times it's showing me are going to be in Central Standard Time. By default, you can see every conference session here, as well as the different times they start. But if you want a more granular view, you can also search through for different things. So if we're looking for Supreme Court, we can find all the Supreme Court sessions by searching that. You can also use this filter button and filter by the tag of the component you're in. By clicking this little plus, you can also add things to your schedule, which you can find over here in the My Items part of the event guide sidebar. Of course, finding your event is only half the battle. So once you find the session you want to join, just click on it to get more information. It's going to pop up some additional controls you can use to add this to your schedule or bookmark a session. The description for each session contains the meeting ID and passcode, in case you need to use that manually to join the Zoom meeting. But in most cases, you're going to be able to get in just by clicking this red button right here. This should launch the Zoom meeting and automatically fill in the meeting ID and passcode for you. So one click should be enough to get you into any Zoom session that you need to go to. They are different for each session, so make sure that you're always selecting the session that is in the right time slot. Next, you'll see the YIG help form. This is sort of the bat signal for our CCE team, so if you need any sort of conference troubleshooting throughout the weekend, you're having trouble getting into a session, or your internet is acting weird or anything like that, you can just use that YIG help form, and that will be the quickest way to alert a member of our team that you need assistance, and we'll email you back as quick as we can. Also, from the event guide sidebar, you're going to be able to access the delegates. This is a fully filtered, searchable list of all the conference delegates sorted by component and school. So if you're looking for some collaborators for dynamic legislation, you'll be able to find them here. Clicking on someone's specific profile is going to show you their bill number and give you options to take notes, to message them, or to add a contact if you want to collaborate on legislation but don't have another way of communicating. The conference book is also on the app, so you can click this YIG conference book. We've got a link to a constantly updated online version of the book, as well as a PDF of it if you prefer to do things that way. You can navigate whichever one you like, and it's going to be updated at specific times with all the new dynamic legislation and things that get added throughout the conference weekend. We've got a button over here for every component. This is where you're going to access all the content related to that component. So if we click GovCab, we can see all the members, the packets, the budget proposals, and the bills signed into law from the GovCab. Those of you in the House of Representatives will use this to find your House committees, the dockets for each one, as well as a smaller PDF that contains only the bills that are going to be debated in that committee. This is also where you'll access things like dynamic legislation and the intent speaker list when those get posted. YIG officers and elections is going to be your one-stop shop for information about this year's officers, as well as those striving to hold those offices next year. You can find a current list, the ballot, and then Saturday, once voting is active, the voting link will be live via this section of the app. Social media down here contains all of the Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook handles that you will need to follow the Center for Civic Engagement on social media, something I highly recommend doing, both during and after the conference. The Tomfoolery Committee icon is also going to contain all the information about the Tomfoolery Committee that's going to be held at 7 p.m. Central Time on the Saturday night of the conference. This is always a super fun event, so I encourage everyone to get involved in some way, either by submitting legislation or coming with your hottest takes. The YIG merch icon is going to let you access our conference store where you can purchase shirts, sweatshirts, graduation cords, stickers, and the commemorative book once that is made available. For those of you in the legislature, you're going to spend most of committee filling out a committee ranking worksheet, which you can find in the House and Senate sections of the app. I'll go ahead and show you what that committee ranking worksheet looks like. Once you download it, it's going to look just like this. I highly recommend opening it on Excel if you can, as that's the program that formats it best. But if it's not working for you, you can always keep track of the same things via paper or another method. Now, only one person from your bill team needs to stay on top of this, although you should all collaborate together on your rankings. Up top here, you can fill in the names of everybody in your bill team. You can put your bill number. So let's say, and then down here you can choose your committee, House 1 through 4 or Senate 1 through 3. Clicking that is going to bring up all the bills that are in that committee over here on the side for you. And then you can click anywhere within this table right here to fill out your ranking for each bill. After every bill, you're going to be asked to rank it on 5 categories. Those 5 categories: innovation, feasibility, statewide impact, content and research, and presentation are explained right here. There's instructions up top and then a further explanation of each ranking criteria below. You'll put a number between 1 and 5 in each of these boxes. 1 is the best, 5 is the worst. So let's say we just heard a really good bill here. You might rank it kind of like this. The sheet will automatically tabulate the totals for you and display it over here. So the total for this first bill that we heard is 8. And then you can move on and rank the second, third, fourth, etc. At the end of all this, you're going to be asked to transfer those totals to a Google form that, again, only one member of your team needs to fill out. Lastly, I'm sure that most of you are far more familiar with Zoom than you care to be, but I want to quickly go over a couple of features that may be unique to our conference. First, I highly recommend that you log into Zoom using the email address that you registered for the conference with. We have already sorted every conference session automatically with those emails, so the second you enter a session, we will be able to automatically sort everybody who's logged in, and then we'll have to manually sort those of you who are not. It's totally fine if you're not able to, or that email address doesn't allow a Zoom account. But if you can log in, it makes the sorting process just a little bit quicker for our team. Down here on the bottom left is your mute and unmute controls. Now at our conference, we ask you to stay muted until you are recognized, at which point we encourage you to unmute yourself by clicking this unmute button. You'll tell that you're unmuted because the red dash will disappear, and you'll see the green in the microphone bouncing around indicating that the computer is picking up your audio. If you're ever having audio troubles throughout the weekend, you can hit this arrow right to the side of the microphone and select Test Speaker and Microphone, and that's going to fix most of the issues that you're having. Down here, similarly, you can see the start and stop video controls. Now, you don't need to have your video on for the entire conference, although we encourage it. It helps cultivate a better debate environment. But definitely turn your video off if you leave the room or are gone from the computer screen for any amount of time, and that'll cut down on distraction for your fellow delegates. By clicking the Participants button down here, you can pull up the Participants sidebar. This is going to list everybody that's in the meeting, should be alphabetically. When you see your name and hover over it, you'll have another option to mute and unmute yourself, and then this More button will let you rename yourself. We do ask that everybody name themselves according to conference convention, which is to start with your component, H for House, S for Senate, GC for GovCap, SC for Supreme Court, P for Press, and L for Lobbyists, a dash, your full name, a dash, and the high school that you attend. You can make that renaming official just by clicking the Rename button, and you should see your new name populate up here. There are certain sessions you might log into where we ask you to name yourselves differently. So just go ahead and listen for instructions as soon as you enter each session in case you need to change your name. At the bottom of the participant sidebar, you'll see a bunch of nonverbal feedback controls. Most important for our conference is the Raise Hand button. When you click it, a little blue hand icon will appear next to your name. It'll also appear in the top left of your participant window. This will indicate to our officers that you wish to be recognized, either because you have a technical question or wish to weigh in on Con-Pro debate. As long as your hand is raised, our officers will assume that you would like to be recognized to speak. So if somebody addresses your point or your question gets asked, you can go ahead and lower your hand by just clicking that button again. And it will take it down so they know not to call on you. Down here you'll also find all your other nonverbal feedback controls, yes, no, go slower and go faster, which we use for motion. So if you'd like to indicate that you have a motion to make, hit that go faster button. That differentiates you from everybody who's trying to speak on technical questions, and we'll make sure our officers can recognize you to make your motion. Finally, many sessions are sorted into smaller breakout rooms. So the system will automatically ask you to join a breakout room when you're assigned, but if you ever need to do that manually, look for this series of 4 small squares down here, the breakout room icon. Clicking Join Breakout Room will show you the room that you're assigned to and let you join it. If you don't see that when you pop into a meeting, just hang tight for a second. It means our team needs to sort you. So just make sure that your name matches whatever our team is asking you to change it to, and sit tight. We'll get you sorted as quick as we can.
Stephen Sow is the Chief of Staff for Congressman Mark Green of Tennessee. Stephen graduated from Ravenwood High School and served as a CCE officer. He is currently the youngest serving Chief of Staff for a congressman. And now he will be giving the keynote address.
Hi officers, legislators, members of the Supreme Court, lobbyists, and members of the press corps. It's an honor to be with you here today. I'm only sorry that we couldn't be together in person this weekend. The last few months, well truthfully the last several years, have shown us the importance of good and proper civic engagement. Now people on both sides of the aisle, every side really, are trying to figure out what went wrong with our politics and what we need to do to fix it. But the truth is the answer is right in front of us. There's no program more critical than youth in government, and that means you all are the solution. I know this because you see, 12 years ago I was sitting in your seats, though lucky for us there was no global pandemic, so we got to sit in actual seats at the Capitol. When I joined Model UN as a sophomore at Ravenwood High School, I did it so I could have another entry in my college application resume. And politics seemed fun to me, but I had no idea just how impactful and life-changing it would be. And I never would have thought that one day I'd get to do this in real life and become one of the youngest chiefs of staff in the United States Congress. Looking back, I know that without a doubt, this was possible only because of Youth in Government and Model UN. You see, it was through Youth in Government that I gained the confidence and the relationships to get an internship with my congressman's office, then get involved in political campaigns and party organizations. That set me up to become active in college, where after a couple of internships, I was able to get a job in politics when I graduated. As you participate in YIG this weekend, I have a few lessons that I wanted to share with you. The first is to go do something you're not good at, and don't be afraid to try new things. I wasn't really good at communicating, so I went out of my way to force myself to be in roles that I had to communicate a lot. YIG was one of those. And now, since graduating from college 8 years ago, I've had 8 different jobs. To a normal person, it probably looks like I couldn't keep a job, and I think my parents feel that way. But I prefer to think about it on the bright side. If nothing else, it means I'm pretty good at filling out HR paperwork. But it was only through those 8 jobs that I was able to develop all the skills and the relationships necessary for my current position. A lot of politics is being in the right place at the right time, so I encourage you to keep at it and keep trying new things. If you're a legislator this year, come back as a lobbyist, or as a member of the press corps, or go argue a case before the Supreme Court if you're thinking about going to law school. Or better yet, run to become an officer. And don't be discouraged if you don't succeed at first, for in the words of Lady Thatcher, you may have to fight a battle more than once to win it. Second, I encourage you to take time to get to know your fellow delegates. Everyone who knows me knows that I'm very passionate about my political beliefs, but those who don't may be surprised that some of my closest friends are on the other side of the aisle. And they not only challenge me in my beliefs, but they actually make me a better advocate for those beliefs. One of my mentors, who's a longtime lobbyist, told me once that there's a person behind every bill, and don't just care about the legislation, care about the person. So I encourage you to get to know your adversaries' hearts, and always realize at the end of the day that we're all part of the same great experiment called America. Third, I encourage you to pursue your passion and really get involved in the community. The best thing about today's world is that there's a ton of different groups, different campaigns, different candidates and causes out there for every political belief. And as Speaker Pelosi once observed, power is never given, it is always taken. So no matter what you believe, there's something out there for you to get involved in. From school board meetings to different advocacy groups, you can make a difference. And almost everyone has internships, and if you're an outstanding student, and for you be involved in YIG, I'm sure you are, you can probably get some of these internships as high school students, and that'll put you ahead of your peers, as well as help you know what you want to do after you graduate. And lastly, I encourage you to seek out mentors. Perhaps more than anything else, having good mentors has helped open countless doors and avoid countless pitfalls for me in my career. I hope you'll seek out good people who've gone before you and learn from their successes and also from their failures. As Donald Rumsfeld once observed, there are unknown unknowns. Now, he was talking about weapons of mass destruction in Iraq, and he was widely mocked for stating the obvious, but he couldn't actually be more right. There are just a lot of things that we don't know that we don't know. Having good mentors can make all the difference. Now, on the front of every bill book that we had at YIG and Model UN, it read, "Democracy must be learned by every generation." We see clearly in today's politics what happens when we don't learn how to do democracy. Well, you are the generation that has to learn democracy and fix our political process. It doesn't matter which side of the aisle you're on, or if you're on neither side, our state and our country need you to be engaged in this process. And I'm encouraged that you're engaged. If I can be of any help to any of you, please don't hesitate to reach out. Thank you again for being part of this weekend, one of my favorite weekends of the year. And thank you to Ms. Susan Moriarty for the invitation to be here and for your unceasing dedication to teaching us how to do democracy and how to make this country a better place for us all. Thank you, and have a good weekend.
And now, here are the speeches from candidates running for office at next year's Youth in Government.
Hi, I'm Asha Matu and I'm running for Speaker of the White House. I'm currently a junior at Franklin High School and I've been part of Youth in Government since freshman year. Although Tennessee is a beautiful and prosperous state, it is apparent that there are many issues which need to be addressed in the upcoming year in order to promote growth for our community. If elected, my priorities would be to help relieve the detrimental effects of poverty on low-income communities, which are further exacerbated by the pandemic. In order to relieve this economic and social stress, we must reform our infrastructure, thus creating more job opportunities in the industries while also improving regional systems. Additionally, Tennessee is ranked number 43 in the country for health care, and the solution is so simple: to expand Medicaid. There is an average of 117,000 residents composed of non-disabled adults with income below the poverty level and without minor children in the coverage gap, and ineligible for Medicaid and for premium subsides in the exchange. If the state was to expand Medicaid, at least 250,000 people would gain access to coverage. I'm dedicated to improving the standard of living for all Tennessee residents and serving in the YMCA Youth in Government. Make sure to vote Ashima 2 for your future White House Speaker.
What's up, guys? I'm Megan Kavala, and I'm running to be your White House Speaker. I know you guys will be sitting here for a while, so I'll make this short while I tell you why you should vote for me. About 2 years ago, I remember sitting in the Doubletree conference room not knowing a single thing about YIG. But as the weekend went on, I began to realize how great this conference truly was. Over the years of being involved in TNCCE conferences, I met some of the most dedicated and creative people I know, and I've come to realize how important they have been to me. Running for this position has provided me with the platform to speak upon issues I believe are impactful to our society. For my platform, I would like to speak about food insecurity. Food is obviously a vital resource needed to get us through our day-to-day lives, but unfortunately, 1 in 7 people in Tennessee and 1 in 5 children in Tennessee are food insecure. Food insecurity limits people from an access to equal opportunities. With that being said, I propose that the state of Tennessee addresses and works to fight food insecurity. Finally, I would like to talk about my campaign. YIG has helped me express my individuality by giving me a platform to express my opinions, and with that, I promise to use the power of my voice as your White House Speaker. I promise to give you the same experience YIG gave me and hope to shine a light on your individuality. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Thank you for your time, and remember, at the polls today, vote for Megan K. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Fatima Sohani, and I'm running to be your 2022 Blue Lieutenant Governor. I still remember my first YIG conference and being scared out of my mind to present. That's why I'm running for the Blue component specifically. I want to be able to help younger and first-time delegates gain confidence in their debate and speaking skills. Now on to my platform. As the Lieutenant Governor, I would focus on public education, ESL resources, and infrastructure. I'm part of a tutoring program in which I work with students from across my city, and my experience has shown me that though I'm fortunate to feel both challenged and supported in the classroom, not every student faces the same experience. Secondly, as we've seen throughout the pandemic, Tennessee does not currently have an adequate structure or resources for communicating with its residents that don't speak English as a first language. This can have drastic impacts on health, education, business, and more. And speaking of inadequate structure, Tennessee's lack of road maintenance and an efficient transportation system, especially in lower income and rural areas, impacts thousands of Tennesseans daily. Ultimately, I believe that Tennessee is a great state that can progress towards equally serving all of its people. I'm looking forward to speaking with some of you at the town hall, and don't forget that Fatima will fight for our futures.
Hi, my name is Abby Landa. I'm currently a junior at Franklin High School, and I'm running to be 2022 Blue Lieutenant Governor. Since my freshman year, I have met some of the most intelligent, amazing people while participating in youth and government. We are extremely lucky to have great opportunities granted to us from our education. Education is what shapes us. It is what can create our interests, our opinions, and even what we would like to make into a career. However, we would not be anywhere without our teachers. We are extremely fortunate to have great educators, but not everyone is in the same case. With 137 school districts in Tennessee, it can easily be inferred that the background of the students in the public school system are drastically different wherever you look. This means that wherever the students are deemed better, the teachers are better. School districts with lower test scores have teachers with lower retention rates. Children may not be getting the adequate education or the special assistance that they need. This is upsetting because students with low test scores need a teacher that is going to be there to steadily help them improve. I would like to increase pay for teachers because I believe that would bring in fitting staff that would help the children. Out of 95 counties in Tennessee, only 9 have a retention rate among teachers of 95% or more. I would like to implement better benefits and tenure for teachers so they will be more willing to work in schools and areas that are not as fortunate as others. Also, to take action in increasing the level of education for disadvantaged youth, I would like to ensure that teachers everywhere meet the same high standards of qualifications so that all teachers and students are getting an equal and fair opportunity. Together, we can build the education of our youth to ensure the future of a brighter Tennessee.
Hey everyone, my name is Reva and I'm running to be your next Blue Lieutenant Governor. I know you're sitting here watching this video and wondering what I could possibly have to offer you that anyone else couldn't. Introducing the rave. Get it? Reva, rave. Cheesy wordplay aside, I really want to ensure that everyone has a phenomenal YIG experience like always, especially as we transition from the online conference back to in-person, fingers crossed. So I promise we will be partying it up and raving in Blue Committee next year if you'll have me. The 3 issues I'm centering my platform around are resource allocation for low-income students, combating climate change by managing poultry farms, and hypergrowth. Approximately 60% of K-12 students in Tennessee are economically disadvantaged and as a result, 13 times less likely to graduate from high school. It's essential that we don't let these individuals down by not allowing schools and students the proper resources. Moving on to hypergrowth. In Wilco alone, there will be a 149% increase in population over the next 25 years, something that's not sustainable at all. Hypergrowth is no joke, people. And finally, climate change. Tennessee has one of the largest percentages of poultry farms, which make up more carbon emissions than the entire transport sector combined. Anyway, even though I won't be able to hand out buttons along with my dignity this year, I hope I get your vote. Thanks for listening, and remember, vote for Reva and see what the rave's all about.
There was a moment during my 8th grade Model UN conference when I was presenting my resolution that a flame ignited inside of me. I looked at the amazing high schoolers leading and teaching us. I discovered a passion that I knew would be mine throughout my life. To be a great example for youth, fight for change for those that cannot advocate for themselves, and to convince every young person that they can have a positive impact if they have the courage to believe in themselves. My name is Ella Pliego. I'm a sophomore at Beach High School, and I'm running to be your 2022 White Senate Lieutenant Governor for the Volunteer Conference. To improve our state, my platform consists of 3 main issues. I would like my county to have a greater concern for the mental health of our students. As depression and suicide rates climb, we are reminded that mental health is real. Finding solutions to help our youth is crucial to the well-being of any area. We must support and provide mental health resources for all students. On a community service level, I would like to promote tobacco prevention with an emphasis in education. We need resources to teach youth about the dangers, programs to aid in quitting, and education granted to every Tennessean. Finally, on a state level, I would like to address systemic racism. We must provide more education, create zero-tolerance policies, and support minority voters. President Barack Obama once said, "We did not come here to fear the future, we came here to shape it." I believe that we all have the power to shape the future and look forward to working with you on the issues for which you are passionate about. Vote Ella Pliego for 2022 White Senate Lieutenant Governor. Thank you.
Hello fellow delegates, I am Finn Schaefer, one of your candidates for White Lieutenant Governor, and today I am here to talk to you about Garfield. Yes, Garfield, the lasagna-loving orange cat. Might I point out 2 things within that statement? First, lasagna. Lasagna is a versatile, amazing food with such variety when it comes to quality. Sometimes you get good lasagna that someone's grandma made in her kitchen for a nice family dinner, and then sometimes you get lasagna that the school system slaps on your plate and tries to convince you is edible. This is like how we are served our years. Some years are great, such as 2018 and 2019. They were the grandma lasagna of recent history. And then you get served in edible cardboard. 2020 was the year that I think we can all agree we'd like to forget. Well, this brings me to my second point, the color orange. When I think of orange, I think of sunsets. Sunsets mark the end of a grueling day. They are the conclusion of an experience. And I think the conclusion that I can draw from 2020 the experience is that I'd rather be a lasagna-loving orange cat with lower cognitive ability. Unfortunately, I cannot, so I will leave you with this. Let's take 2021 as a transition lasagna and put aside our differences to help our communities return back to normal. I am a candidate that is willing to put my all into helping us achieve that. Also, my platforms are support for animal shelters, more opioid addiction rehabilitation centers, and diversification of education. Thank you guys, and remember, a vote for Finn is a vote for Garf.
The great philosopher and poet Sir Childish Gambino once said, "Happiness is the goal, but greatness is my mission." And this is going to be my motto as your governor for YIG in 2022. Hi, my name is Aaron Chada, and as governor, I will make sure to make YIG as fun as possible while planting the seeds for the greatness I'm confident you, I, and all of us will achieve, not just for Tennessee, but our nation beyond. The reason you should vote for me isn't just limited to the fact that I currently hold the highest office held by any junior at YIG as your Blue House speaker, and I hope to see all of you in the Blue House at some point, or the fact that I've been in the YIG ecosystem since the 6th grade. The biggest reason you should vote for me is that I have a vision. I have a vision that I'm confident we all share, not just for YIG, but America beyond. And here's what it is. Ladies and gentlemen, America is more divided than it has ever been since the Civil War. We hate each other for no reason. And I want to change that. By voting for me, you're not just voting for Ymca. You're voting for an era of bipartisanship, an era of America today, America first, America together. Ladies and gentlemen, we need to recognize that our name is the United States of America and not the disjointed states of America. And if there ever was an America and ever will be an America, there will be the United States of America. And this is our fight for the soul of the nation. That is why I'm running on the platform of unity and bipartisanship, starting from police reform, then to healthcare, and then finally education, so we can all once again truly unite. Let's once again do what's right, not because it's easy, but because it is hard. Ladies and gentlemen, by voting for me, you're not just making YIG legendary, you're making the world legendary. And here's to America. From my heart to yours and your hearts to mine, ladies and gentlemen, vote for Ymca. The ball is in your court. Vote for me, be the difference, make the future.
Hello everyone, I'm Sam Payne, and I hope to be your 69th governor. Over the past few weeks, I've had to write countless speeches, blank statements, and responses to possible debate questions, all while knowing that this most likely will not change your vote. The fact is that few of you are listening right now, and even fewer of you will make it through the policy portion of this speech. Nonetheless, I've had to think about the problems Tennessee has faced over the last few decades, and how those problems have only been amplified by the pandemic. The question is how do we solve these complex issues? The answer is investment in our people. As it stands, Tennessee is ranked among the worst in the country for median household income, teacher compensation, and food insecurity. That is why I'm proposing a broad-ranging package for infrastructure improvement that not only covers our roads and bridges, but also our state's access to broadband internet. The last year has shown us that the internet is an integral part of a modern society. However, many Tennesseans, especially those in rural areas, lack the amount of access to internet services needed to effectively provide for their families. On top of this, these improvements will also help attract businesses to the state that can provide well-paying, stable jobs to our citizens. As a further incentive to these companies, we need to invest in our educational system so that a larger share of our students can have access to a world-class education. These are the policies I hope to implement as your next governor, but to tell you the truth, I'm not exactly sure what it means to be governor. I can't tell you I know the tasks I will be completing or the inevitable challenges I will face, but what I can tell you is that there are things to be done and I can do them. Then again, other candidates are also capable of this job, but so are any of us. We don't need a governor who is capable of the job. We need a governor who is the right fit for the job. I'm not saying it's me, because frankly, I don't know if it is. But I'm confident you do. You know who is right for governor, and you know who is right for you. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Molly Voelker. I am currently a junior at Franklin High School, and this year I am running to be your 2022 Volunteer Conference Governor. I want to start off by thanking Susan, Elise, Tyler, and everybody else at the TNCCE who have worked so hard to give us this unique opportunity. 2 years ago, I attended my first Youth in Government conference. At that time, I never would have imagined I'd have the courage to do what I'm doing right now. I'm running for governor because I see a Tennessee where people feel supported and stood with through these inconsistent and chaotic times. A Tennessee where every child has equal opportunity to a fantastic education. A Tennessee full of progress, unity, and strength. Now, all of this sounds great, but I want you to know that I am not just talk and no action. I have clear plans to set us on this path. According to Tennessee Commissioner of Education Penny Schwinn, recent studies have shown significant losses in math and early reading skills due to the pandemic. As governor, I will work with the Department of Education to allocate a significant portion of the budget to provide schools with funds designated towards improving academic loss during the pandemic. Each school will have the authority over how to improve the academic situation within their institution, but I would also establish a committee to oversee the allocation of these funds and ensure that they are being used effectively. According to new information from the CDC, Tennessee ranks 44th among states in percentage of people 65 and over with at least one vaccine dose at 62.3%. Although many Tennesseans are eligible for the vaccine, the process of making an appointment online is convoluted and difficult, and impossible for some elderly people who can't use the internet. To combat this, I would set up a government-funded phone line to help elders book their appointments. Another vaccine-related issue is general distrust of the vaccine. To assure Tennesseans that the vaccine is a safe, positive, and necessary thing, I would set up an informational campaign with easily accessible information on the Health Department website. Everyone deserves protection from this dangerous virus, but everyone also deserves to have their worries put to rest. The end of these troubling times is in sight, and the Tennessee I see is the light at the end of the seemingly endless tunnel. I see a Tennessee that can and will exist, and I believe that I am the right candidate to set us on this path. I hope you do too. Thank you.
Once again, welcome to Youth in Government 2021. Session begins at 4 p.m. Central Time, so head over to your app to find your session and Zoom link on schedule. We recommend hopping on a couple of minutes early to make sure your audio and video are working. If you are watching this early, you are also welcome to hop on the virtual luggage room session at 1:30 p.m. Central to test your equipment. Thank you for participating in Youth in Government this year. We look forward to a wonderful weekend filled with debate, and we hope you take this opportunity to use your voice to make this state a better place. Delegates, unmute yourselves.